Alright, you've been waiting long enough. It's time for another Rebbe Shabbos RebbesDrasha. And we're going to start with this week's Parsha, which we know is troooomah, kazmaizmanim.com. And we're going to start with just the basics, the meat and potatoes, the bread and the butters. And then we're going to get to the real deep stuff. Again, candle lighting is this week. And also the Erev is up. And so should you be, because it's a mitzvah. So Hashem said that you should build him a mishkan, and we see from that the mamish, it's a huge important thing that the boys know how to build stuff, because somewhere along the line it became not so yeshivish to know how to build, and then that's why you see lots of times mommies putting together high chairs and sheetrock and building the house, and sometimes finishing the basement. So it's a huge thing to learn how to be someone who can be a boineh and have a boneh. That didn't sound right. And so we should always take that with us whenever we think that it's not so frum to be cool and build stuff. And then so what happened in the Mishkan? So if you had, like in Mishmar, we were talking about the book that every school had one of, the really expensive tabernacle book that had like strep and like poison ivy and everything else that was contracted through it. So that book shows you how beautiful the Mishkan was and all the things inside of it. And mamish, you have to build the most beautiful things to bring the Shekhinah. So where did we go wrong? How come when you go into a shul nowadays, it looks like some 12th grade dorm room, like tissues everywhere, and there's like it smells disgusting and it's not taken care of? It's not because you think it's because they can't find a good janitor. No, it's because they don't care enough, because it's a yeshivish thing to smell. So we have to not be so yeshivish in this group, and if we want the Shekhinah to come to us, we have to make it beautiful like the Mishkan, and we should have lots of colorful things like techeles and stuff like that. We should be colorful. And then this is actually a real cool story that I read, so I'm going to put a real Torah twist into this, a little NBC Miami Boys Choir Chasdi Hashem spin around. So, I think it was a Rishol Salanter when he was really sick and he had a matzah shop, and the Bachram asked him, because they were supposed to take over watching the matzah shop, like Mishmarim, which you missed. So, they asked him, how should we do that? Like, where do we have to be really careful? In which halachas of like the matzah do we have to like try to, scrutinize? And he said, well, the woman that mops the floors in the matzah factory is a widow, so you have to be really careful when you speak with her to speak to her nicely, because that's really the key. It's not so much, is it like a brachs, or is it 18 minutes, or is it 72? It's like, be nice to people and treat people with derech eretz. That's what Hashem wants. So stop being so socially awkward and judgmental, and you'll have a good Parshas Troooomah. And eventually, when the Beis Midrash comes and I eat your troooomah, I'll give you a shout out, and I'll let you know who makes good troooomah, and I'll definitely let you know when your wife needs to make better troooomah. I'm not the type of person that's going to eat troooomah and sit quietly and say, yeah, no, it was really, really good. It was the best troooomah I ever had. If I think you didn't make a good troooomah, I'm going to tell you, listen, I think you need to go speak to your wife. She didn't use nearly enough salt, that type of thing. So, good Shabbos. Mishnech Adar is so exciting. There's so many fun perm shtick costume ideas. Someone is going to have to be the guy that wears the Ger Chassid thing with the payas coming down, the gold one. That's the classic. So if someone doesn't do that, then perm didn't really happen. Bye-bye.